Okay, sorry everybody, this is 10.2. Sorry, part of it is already done, but I made a mistake, so I have to redo it. So it's on how to find arc measures. First thing first, what's an arc? An arc is a piece of a circle or a portion of a circle. So if this is your full circle, if you take this piece right here, that's called an arc. The symbol for arc is this right here, an arc. And then how to name it is use the endpoints. So this is arc AB right here. How do you know it's referring to this arc versus the one at the bottom? Okay, if it's a smaller arc, less than half, we use 2 points. If it's a bigger arc, we use 3 points. Okay. If it's half, you can use 2 or 3. I'll go over it again later here. Excuse me. Next vocab is what we call a central angle. A central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of the circle, which is right here. So I drew one earlier. So here's what we call a central angle. Angle P or angle APB. That's the same thing as angle P. So here's the central angle right here. So let me highlight it. This is called the central angle right there. Okay. And then if you have a central angle, let's just say it's 80 degrees. What happens is this arc that's being intercepted here is the same measurement. So arc AB, which is I highlighted with yellow, is also 80 degrees. So if it's a central angle, it's equivalent to this intercepted arc. Okay. There's 3 types of arcs. The first one is a semicircle or a semicircle, and semi means half, so half a full circle is a semicircle. To draw one, you have to A, B, C, D. For it to be a semicircle, it has to be the intercepted arc of a diameter. So hold on. This is a diameter. This arc right here is a semicircle. Okay. So again, and if it's semicircle, you should know it's 180 degrees. Okay. So how do you name a semicircle? In this case, it's okay. How can you tell which one is CD up here and CD at the bottom? That's why sometimes everybody, semicircle uses 3 points. Sometimes there's 2. So just be careful. Just look at the diagram. So you can use 2 letters. CD, which is the bottom one here. And then the top one, they would usually just put another point just to differentiate between the 2. So the top one would be arc CED. So your semicircles are arc CED. Please, it has to be in order. You can't go CDE. It has to be in order, either counterclockwise or clockwise. So, and then the bottom one, you can name it CD. So I know, because you might get confused with the arc CD. Is it the top or the bottom? So that's why they use 3 letters or 2 letters, just to show you which one is which. Okay, so that's a semicircle. Again, it's 180 degrees. Next one is a minor arc. A minor arc, minor means small. So if it's small, it has to be less than 180 degrees. Less than 180 degrees. So this is half. So if it's smaller than 180 degrees, oops, it's not very nice. Sorry. Okay. GH, I'm just gonna use. Okay. This arc right here, minor arc, less than half, is a minor arc. This one refers to this, so I'm not gonna name it again. So I'm just gonna arrow there. So this one, minor arc, is arc GH, and you can only use 2 points. Where will I write that? So every time it's 2 points, it has to be either a semicircle or a minor arc. Uses 2 points. Okay. Then the next one is a major arc. So if this is a minor arc, the one on the other side is a major arc. So I'm gonna just draw the same one here so you guys can tell the difference. So if this is GH again, the one on the other side down here is a major arc. A major arc is greater than 180 degrees, okay, and smaller than 360 degrees. Okay. When you name a major arc, you cannot name it GH. That's wrong. You need another point. For a major arc, you need 3 points to give it a name. So so you can't go GHI, that's a different one. The one that I highlighted would be arc GIH or arc HIG. Doesn't matter. Okay, so that's the vocabulary. Then there's a few rules here. Arc addition postulate. All it's telling you is that if you have 2 adjacent arcs and you want to add it, it's the whole thing from A to C. So for instance, arc, measure of arc AC, oh sorry, yeah, so measure of arc AC is equivalent to measure of arc AB plus measure of arc BC. So just add the 2. Just like angle addition postulate, segment addition postulate, we also have arc addition postulate. So just add it, equals 200 degrees. Okay. Next one, congruent circles. Congruent circles. They're congruent if the radius are equal. Okay, if the radius are equal, the same length for the radius, then they're congruent. Congruent arcs, they're congruent if the measurements are equal. And then this doesn't, so that it makes sense here. I'm gonna change this to B instead of C. Okay, so here congruent circles would be circle, circle P and circle B. Congruent arcs are in the bottom one in this case because I made it both 75 degrees. Arc EF is EF, not EP. EF is congruent to arc ED. Okay. Now let's go over the examples. Okay. For me, before I even look at the problems, I like to find the measurements of each arc, how it's divided. So just a reminder, a full circle is 360. And a semicircle is 180. How do you know it's a semicircle? It has to pass through the center right here. So this makes it a diameter, therefore this is a semicircle here. So you should know this one is 180 here, right? Because this is a semicircle. This is 125. So then this is 125 there. And then this one, it's 180 minus 125 is 180 minus 125, 55. Okay, so, and this is 55 degrees. So I like to find all the arc pieces first before I answer the questions, but it's up to you. So the first one says find the measure of arc LM. So measure of arc. So now that I have all my arc measurements and angle measurements, they're the same. Okay, this, if that's 55, that's 55. If this is 180, this angle is 180. Okay, measure of arc LM is 125. Measure of arc LMK, again, this is 3 points, so it should be bigger than 180 or 180, half a circle. Okay, LM, so make sure you know which order you're going. LMK, can't go this way. LKM, that's a mistake. LMK, so that's 125 plus 180, it's 235. 235 degrees, sorry. And measure of arc KLM, that's half a circle, so that's 180 degrees. Okay, that's that one. So let's try again. So again, if this is 180, that's 50. This is 70. You can go 360, take away the whole thing, or you can go 180, take away 50, take away 70 for just this small piece here. So therefore, this is 120, take away from 180, so that's 60 degrees. Again, if this is 70, the angle, the measure of the arc is equivalent. And now I can answer all the questions. So the first one, measure of arc AD. I'm just gonna, to make this shorter, I'm just gonna put here, measure of arc AD is 70 degrees. Measure of arc AB is 60 degrees. Put the measure notation if you're giving me an degree answer. Okay. Measure of arc CD is 180 degrees. Oh, it's asking you whether it's minor, major arc. Sorry. This is a minor arc. This is a minor arc. This is a semicircle. Okay, and then BDC. BDC. Again, you have to go in order. You can go this way and then go back. BDC, that's a major arc. And that's equivalent to 310, right? BDC, 360, take away 50, because that's all, that's not part of it, so that's 310. And measure of arc ACD, again, ACD this way, not this way. ACD, it's 360, take away 70, so that's 290. And that's also a major arc. And then measure of arc BC is 50 degrees. That's a minor arc. Okay. Next one, the other side. This is already done, so I'm not gonna redo that. Here's another one. Find the measure of the arc again. If you're stuck, full circle is 360. Half a circle is a 180. So this is 180 here. That's 180 there. Or else. Okay, and then there's another thing you should also watch out for: vertical angles. vertical angles are congruent. So if this is 70, that's 70 here. If this is 110, together, these two together is also 110. So there's different ways to get this angle measure here. Use whatever you come up first, or whichever rule you decide. There's different ways to get this angle. So again, the angles are equivalent to the arcs. So that's 70, this is 75, this arc is 35, this angle is 70, this one is 110. So first one, arc AED. Arc AED, that's half a circle, 180 degrees. Next one is arc AC. Where's AC? Sorry. AC right here. 75 plus 35 is 110. Arc ACE. ACE. So everything except this part, 70. So 360 take away 70 is 290. Okay. Measure of arc BE. Where is BE? BE, it's these two together. So that's 75 plus 70 is 145. Next one is arc CDE. CDE, that's half a circle, so 180. And then measure of arc AEC. AEC, everything except this two, that's 110. So take away from 110, 360, so it's 250. Okay. Next one, these are done. Very simple. Okay, the bottom one here, be careful. It's asking you to determine whether the highlighted arcs are congruent. And it makes sense. By just looking at it, they're not the same. Even though the angle or the arc measurements are the same. Okay, 180 degrees. The measure is not the same thing as length. Okay, length is when you flatten this arc. How long is it? Okay, so this length is not the same as this length if you flatten it. So it's only congruent if the radius are equal. This is a longer radius versus this. So the arcs are not congruent. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna use this one for that. So again, so no, they're not congruent because the circles are not the same length because the radius are not the same size. Versus this one here, 14, yes, arc EF, which is this, is congruent to arc GH. Why? Because their radius are the same. They're sharing that radius, therefore they make the size of the circles the same. That's 10.2. If you have any questions, just post it on Google Classroom. Okay. Okay, 10.2, there's a typo on the video. When I use the arc addition postulate, you see this arc AC. Okay, because it's 120 plus 80, that's 200. You should use 3 letters, not 2 letters, because AC would be the bottom one here. So this should say measure of arc ABC. Sorry for that. Okay, so measure of arc ABC. It's a major arc, so you need to use 3 letters.